I've been thinking a lot lately about what will my kids remember about me? Not just when they're growing up and they're older, but even now when they're young and they're still growing up. Like, what are they remembering about me today and next week and so on and so forth? And it's even more prominent in my mind lately because Father's Day is just around the corner. And, well, I'm a dad. It sits on me pretty heavily because there's no solid scoreboard or anything like that. It's like telling you whether you're doing a good job in the moment. Like there's nothing that's immediate feedback. It's something we have to wait for a long time to finally understand whether we did a good job. So that's what I want to talk about today. Some of the efforts, some of my desires, and what I hope my kids remember about me. So to get started, I hope that my kids remember or hope that my kids look back and think that I was a good dad. I hope generally that's where it lies. But ultimately, I want them to have a memory of me being present, not just physically present, but emotionally and intellectually present to talk and connect. It doesn't always feel like it's happening, but I hope that they feel that. I hope they say that I made them feel safe and encouraged and inspired and oh man, I just hope they say all kinds of good things about me when they're all grown up and I'm not here anymore. But most importantly, I hope that what they say isn't so much about how I was great, but that how I made them feel good and loved and that they were important to me. Yeah. I want to share a little example of like the kind of taste of what I'm talking about when I talk about trying to connect and mold and guide the kids. So right now, my daughter is 17 and she's going into senior year of high school next year. And she really hasn't expressed a lot of knowing what she's going to do when she gets out of high school. She doesn't know whether she wants to go to college or a trade school or anything really. And over the years, I've really encouraged the idea of college. But now that we're here and it's time to start making some decisions and taking some action, I want her to know that what she chooses is what she chooses. And I'm not judging anything, but what I really want is for her to be happy in the end. And what I also want to make sure is that I walk away knowing that I did my best to guide and mold her. So what me and my wife have started doing, and we started it a little over a week ago, is that we want to have a sit down with her every couple weeks and just check in, see where she's at, maybe give her some direction and some thought about maybe what she should be focusing on over the next couple weeks. So initially what we talked about was in 10 years, when you're in your mid to late 20s, what do you want your life to look like? If you were working, what field would you be working in to where you felt like you were having an impact on the world and you were fulfilling God's purpose for your life? Is there a certain type of ministry? Is there just a general field of work that you would be felt led to be a part of? And would you even be working? Maybe you want to be a mom and you want to take care of the house and stuff like that. Like what think about that kind of stuff so that you know where the end goal is and we can start working our way back and talk about what we should do moving forward. That kind of stuff. So what I hope is that she doesn't come back and say, I want to be blank because I want to be a part of the thought process and knowing that when she has this all figured out, she really thought things through. But this is just me and my perfect plan. And who knows, perfect plans, they don't turn out exactly the way we planned them to. But that's the way we're working it out so far. And we just started. And so we're supposed to meet again this Sunday and talk these things out. It's only like 30 minutes, no pressure. It's just conversation and some help, some guidance, and some mentorship. we'll see how it goes, and maybe I'll keep you guys updated. But that is just an example. Whatever she ends up deciding and whichever direction it goes, we just want her to know that we're going to be proud and happy for her because she's following whatever direction that she feels led to go down. And I don't want to pressure her or challenge her into thinking she's got to go to college and stuff like that. This is all to help her get where she's going and us just show our love and support. And that's what I want to do with both the kids all the time. And honestly, I've been thinking about being a dad since I was as far back as I can remember. I paid attention to the male role models in my life when I was growing up, and there were some positive aspects to them. I can call out a few things, but more often than not, I took notes about what I would do differently, what I wouldn't do, how I would do it different, and what I would have said, and the kind of dad that I hope that I would have been. And then I had kids. And I know now that it's more complicated than that. It's not as easy, or it's a bit harder than I thought it was gonna be. Maybe I shouldn't say it's not as easy or it's harder. Maybe I should say it's just more complicated than that. Sometimes I really wonder if my kids get me. Sometimes they look at me like I'm from another planet. One of them more than the other, but they both do it. I just sometimes really want them to understand the whole picture and not just know about the dad I am today, but get a better understanding of the boy I was as a kid and the hardship that I came out of and how that might be able to be a good resource for them. I don't know, that's a little bit more, my thing, not so much theirs. But I think sometimes the advice I give or the conversations we have could potentially, you know, have a little bit more weight, but they're probably just too young just yet to really fully grasp the weight of everything. And that's kind of been by design. The whole goal has been to, make the kids be kids and not have to think so hard or be so grown up like I was when I was in their shoes. And I also think about generational things and cycles I want to break. Most men in my family, at least the ones I can think of like my father and grandfather and so on, they didn't live past their 50s. Even my mom and my grandmother, they didn't live past their 50s. And I'm turning 40 soon. And that's part of the reason a lot of the content you've seen over the past year or so has been focused on health. I want to be healthy. I want to be here for them so that one day maybe they will have some interests in why I did things a certain way. And I don't want to leave them baffled or confused of like why I was the way I was. Yeah, I don't know. I just want to be healthy so I can be here for them for as long as possible because I want that one day when I'm not here, I will have prepared them to be in a world where I'm not here anymore. And, I can't say I did a whole lot of like really seriously bad things, but I don't know. I'm not perfect. But I hope that when they look back, they at least know that I tried, that I was always thinking of them and that I always had them on my heart, that I love them deeply, that I prayed for them before they were ever born, and that I tried my best to keep God at the center of everything that I ever did or do as a dad. Now, if you're a dad and you're watching this, like I said, it's almost Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to you. I'd love to hear in the comments what you're doing in your kids' lives to make a difference, even if it's the smallest thing. If you are hoping that the actions you take will leave a lasting impression and they'll remember the different things, I'd love to hear about it. One, just to create conversation, and two, because I'd love to get some advice on things that I could maybe start implementing in my life, and maybe the other dads would love to hear about it. And if you're not a dad, I'd love to hear a story about your dad, what your dad did and how it impacted you. So, yeah, leave some comments. Also, all the normal YouTuber stuff, leave a, subscribe and watch this video or that video that pops up. But also, check out the website. I'm going to leave a link in the description, and it'll be to subscribe to a email list that I send an email with like encouragement and an update on the different content that's come out over the past week. Do like a once a week email. It's actually pretty good because I try to keep the content of the email valuable, but separate from the content that comes out throughout the week. I think last week I did like 12 blog posts. So go check it out, and happy Father's Day. Check you later. See you on the next video. Happy Father's Day stuff. All right, take care.